One day you're sitting at a coffee shop and just drinking coffee, and then next day we got bombed by the Russians. And
Go to the middle of Medellin, where midnight, where there's like the red light district, and there's crazy people drugging themselves. I'm just gonna walk with my pepper spray.
you have to find people that can specialize and become really good. It's a lot easier to find someone that can do one thing than two things.
What's up, guys? Today I'm with my friend Martin Baum from Denmark. We met in Jiu-Jitsu. He is a really good friend of mine that I met just recently in November, December from the last year in my travels. And he is a martial artist. He's a programmer. He's someone that really is diving deep into Bitcoin, everything that's related to cryptocurrency, providing services, and doing business as a nomad traveler. So, Martin, it's a pleasure to have you here in Ecuador, in my home country, and it's just a pleasure to have been with you, fighting with you, learning with you. Where he's also like really into meat. He has almost like maybe a mainly carnivore diet, so that's like amazing. And just want to like connect with you today and see what a little bit more of your story on how you became who you are right now, and maybe tap into like what has been the things that have like marked the most amount of your journey, and what do you feel like life is like right now? So let's start with who are you right now and what are you doing?
I was living in Bulgaria, but I wanted just to get a little bit away from winter. So I decided, like, why not go to Latin America and see there? So I went first to Colombia, and I went there and I ended up meeting my now girlfriend. And then I ended up now moving there. So this is what I am right now, where I am right now. And but I have been a nomad, but I haven't been a nomad for a long time, like 3 years. I settled down in Ukraine and Bulgaria. I was bombed in Ukraine, and then I moved to Bulgaria. So
you just go fly past that. He was bombed in Ukraine. It was like
it was really crazy. At one day you're like sitting at a coffee shop and just drinking coffee, and then next day we got bombed by the Russians. And I was in Kiev at this point, so I saw like the places I was sitting and working with. I saw that on Twitter that there was just tanks coming in, so it was very surrealistic. I'm like, oh wow, I guess it's time to leave. So and it was very hard to leave, but I actually I left after 2 days there, and then that's how it is. I still have a lot of contact to Ukraine because a lot of my employees are from Ukraine. I lived there for some time. I have friends there, in some flat, some stayed. But it was a quite crazy period. And then I fled to first Hungary, and then Serbia, and then Bulgaria, where I have some friends, and I stayed there.
Okay. So Bulgaria, and what's the biggest difference that you've seen when the war started, right, in Ukraine with the bombings, you being there, versus now? What do you think has happened so far, and what has changed?
Well, Ukraine was like before the war, it was one of the most freedom-friendly places. I think that is lost a bit now because the government have taken over control because they are in war. Of course, you could do whatever you want, but it was still safe. Like as long as you're not doing anything like really crazy, like nobody would bother you. So it was just really nice place. People were very friendly, very good food. I think that's lost because now they are in war, and you can have some theories on why what happened here, and I definitely have some. They're probably not
Let's
so
tap
YouTube
into that.
they're probably not so YouTube friendly, but when you have a place that is, I would say, probably one of the freest places in the world, and things after COVID were not so free, then you have to crack down on the places that are free if you want to. And what better way to make sure that there's a war that occurs? That's maybe not more. We should go into
Okay. Let's tap into another thing. So yeah, what do you like besides your girlfriend about Colombia and South America so far? Like, why should more entrepreneurs maybe come to Latin America, or what do you think? Because there's a lot of misconceptions that's like too much crime or like too dangerous. But what have you experienced? In the flesh, actually.
Well, you meet really interesting people here, like yourself. Like, you meet really interesting people. I first went to Medellin, and there's a lot of expats coming there. It's a very like the temperate climate, and really good coffee shops, a lot of places to work from, and you meet a lot of really interesting people. So I think just for the networking, of course, it's also cheaper than many other places, but not as cheap as like other places. So it's like some things are very expensive, some things are not so expensive. Like, and I think just meeting people, and it's people are very warm and friendly. And like now my girlfriend is from Bogota, so I moved to Bogota, and it's a lot bigger city, and not the best to live in, I would say. A lot of air pollution and stuff like that. But people are so friendly. Like, they have good meats everywhere, and it's good coffee shops, and there's a lot of things you can do that are very that wouldn't really be possible many other places. So for example, in Medellin, you can take a helicopter to what is this called? This place called outside Medellin, that's
El
like
Peñón.
El Peñón. You can take a helicopter for like 200, 300 euros or something like that, dollars. Like, it's like, I mean, it's a lot of money for like a travel, but you get to go in a helicopter, right? It's really really crazy. So like, there's things like this where if you're from Denmark, or like somewhere in Europe or the States, that's going to be very expensive. And so just doing this, like doing some crazy stuff like this, there's a lot of opportunities to do things that you haven't done anywhere. The climate is so beautiful. If you go, I would recommend people to go to the smaller cities, because if you're in Medellin, it's pretty safe. But then if you go to the outskirts of Medellin, it's not so safe. And it's the same in Bogota, many countries in Latin America. In the outskirts of the bigger cities, it's not safe. But as soon as you get out of that outskirts and you're going to the smaller city, you will meet like normal, regular people. There's no ladrones, like thieves, or like something like that there that are trying to take advantage of you. So I went to like some smaller city called Fredonia in Antioquia, which is where Medellin, it's the department of Medellin, and met so many interesting people. It's like a very tranquil life, and you know, you can literally go and you get the coffee in your coffee shop from like 1 kilometer away. Like,
nice.
So it's so nice, and the jungle kind of thing that's there. Like, I was never in a jungle yet. I need to go there, but like the things just grow like crazy, like weed everywhere. This is why it's so good to make certain spices in Colombia to export.
100%.
But so there's so many things. Just meeting people and just tranquil life, and it's very safe if you stay in the tourist areas, or even like a little bit out. I'm a little bit adventurous, so we went to the center of Medellin.
Yeah, let me tell this story. So this guy, like, not meeting me, just doing jiu-jitsu, he basically said, okay, let's go to the middle of Medellin, where like at midnight, where there's like the red light district, and there's like crazy people drugging themselves like in different street corners and laughing their asses off. And he was like, yeah, I'm just gonna walk with my pepper spray and nothing will happen. And I was with my brother in that moment, so we were just like, and it was like such a revelating experience. And this is not something that many people can do, because again, we are men, and that's like a reality. Like, if we were like 3 women, I would not recommend you to do that. But if we are 3 men doing that and like exploring and putting ourselves out there within the limits, right? Yeah, we will be able to like explore different things and like test sometimes what you're gonna do. But I'm not so much into testing as you are. Like, you are a little crazy. Another thing that I've admired of you, and this is something that I've started to like try to understand a little bit more, it's what allows you to be here, right? Because you not only just work and you are successful right now to a certain level and degree, you have financial independence, you can travel all over the world, and at the same time you still have a business that runs by itself. And this is something that you started teaching me what is your business? How did you start? And how do you put yourself in a position where you are not necessarily working 100% of the time?
Yeah.
Because many entrepreneurs are like, okay, I want to travel all over the world, and I personally can travel all over the world and do business all over the world. However, I am still having to work Monday through Sunday, almost every day of the week. I'm starting to get a little bit maybe Saturdays off, but most of the time I'm still like delivering, because the art of delegation, the art of leadership is something that I still need to master.
Yeah.
So tell me, how do you get started with your business, and what do you think are the key things that took you to where you're at right now, where you don't have to take 100% of the time?
Yeah, well, when you start out, it has to suck. Like you have to grind, and there's just no way around that. But you also have to keep experimenting and learning, right? So one of the things that I did really bad in the start was I just kept grinding and grinding and grinding, and then tearing myself out. Then I had like 3 months where I was like basically out, and then did do it again. When you're younger, this is one of the things I love with you. Like you're young, you have a lot of energy. I can see you're going really forward and just going like head against the wall or whatever, and going through it. So you have to have this kind of energy in the start. But then as you get more finances, like your finances in order, you get more money saved up, you get more leverage in either capital or human. You have to figure out how to delegate, but not only just delegating, also finding the right people. Like recruiting is so hard, and I haven't figured that out. Like I think I hired more than 100 people now.
Wow.
And I had to fire like 80 of them, and so I haven't learned.
That's the ugly truth. That's the ugly truth of business. Like you bring a lot of people and you fire a lot of people.
Yeah, exactly. And so you just have to keep going at this, and you have to experiment and finding people that can work, and especially like in the start I tried to find people that could replace me. That's a very, very bad way, because most people are not in business. Most people don't know. You have to know everything about your business. I'm in the service business. Like I provide software services, like whatever you need. If you have an app you want to build or a website, then I build that completely from scratch, maybe with design, everything to the end. And I tried to find someone that could do everything for me, but I have to pay them like $10,000 a month, and they will have to have like 20 years of experience, and you just don't find those people. They all work for Google and are happy there. And so you have to find people that can specialize and become really good. It's a lot easier to find someone that can do one thing than two things. So you find people that can, like I have this problem, like I use a lot of time here, and then you find someone to do that for you, and then they will do that for you. Like, so for example, you're in video service industry, I could imagine.
Yeah,
like
short form video service, digital marketing.
Yeah, so first you found editors, right? You have found editors, and this is like, I think this is the right approach. This is not what I did. But you find like editors that can do the bulk of that work, and now you found people that do video editing, video script editing, and you're like finding these people here. Now, then when you have that, then already a bulk of your work is delegated. And I always say that, when you have one person in your company, you can probably get 3 times as much done if they have that responsibility. But you have to delegate, and you have to give them their responsibility. So I give a lot of responsibility. You have to train people, but you train people and you give them more and more responsibility as fast as possible. Yeah, I hire people, but I hire them on a trial basis and start for like 3 weeks or something like that, so I can really see how they're doing and how they're thinking. But in this case, I really like to, which is like verboten in the most of businesses, I micromanage people in the start, because if you don't do this, you don't know what you're evaluating. If you just give them a task and just say, hey, figure it out, I think this is what a lot of big businesses do wrong, is they just give people tasks and then to see, hey, who performed the best. But this is not really testing how they are thinking or doing, and it's a lot better way is just you give people small tasks and you see, hey, are they completing this? Are they doing it how they're supposed to? Are they thinking outside the box? And then you can really evaluate how well are this person doing, instead of just like giving them a big task, and then basically you're evaluating how well did you write this task and how well do they understand this task. and that's not really a way you normally work in a business. You normally work more interactive together, like iterations, and people have questions, etc. So this is how I really like to hire people, and this is the way I have had the most success with hiring people, because I hired and fired so many people. This is unfortunately the truth, but
like 100 people hired, 80 fired, and I think that's part of business, and it's something that if you're an entrepreneur, you're gonna have to deal with, because it's like the pain of, okay, I hired it and I made the mistake of hiring him, and that like sometimes gets on the ego. But it's not only you, it's about the mission, it's about what type of service you're providing to others, and that should come above everything else, right?
And also, when you are hiring people on a trial basis, it's a lot easier to say goodbye to them. Like, so this way they know that it's on a trial basis. So this is like, the 80 people, it's not people I hired for like 3 months. It's like people I hired for a week or 2 or 3. And I saw, like, for example, I had one guy from Poland that I tried to hire. And, the second day we were supposed to meet, we have a meeting like every morning, and we do there. He knows that I'm not in Poland, and then it's a Polish holiday, and he just doesn't show up. And he's like, "Oh, you should know this." And I'm like, "We have a Muslim in our company, this is a Catholic." This is a Catholic holiday. We have a Muslim in our company. We have a Catholic. We have like almost a Hindu. Like, we have like so many different people. Like, how am I supposed to just assume on the second day that you are having a holiday in Poland, like, and cater to that? Like, and then I didn't hear from him like that day, and then he just came back, like, and I was like, dude, what the hell? Like, that makes no sense. Like, when you're in a remote international company, so you really get to learn people fast if you just hire them on a trial basis. Like, I understand people maybe want a holiday. We don't have any fixed holidays in our company. Not a single one, not Christmas, anything, because some people don't celebrate Christmas, some people celebrate New Year's, etc. What we have is like a fixed amount of days that people have vacation, and they can take it whenever they want. Just say it like a week in advance, or like 2, then we will accommodate that, or even like a few days before. Sometimes that's fine as well. So this is a good way to do holidays in companies, I think.
That's great. That's great, man. And I think I think the important aspect of the remote work is also like keeping that expectation, like knowing and having more communication, even more than if you have like a normal office, because you cannot see how they're feeling. You don't see their body language. You don't see, like, there's a lot of things that get lost if you're just doing like remote. So you have to over communicate, over create the culture, and over deliver, not only for your clients but also for your team, because the team is the one that's making you successful.
Exactly.
So keeping that in mind. Well, Martin, we have a secret podcast, a secret version of this that's only audio because of what happened. But in that podcast, we dive into investing, we dive into food, we dive into life, death, purpose. And I think that you would really enjoy it. So we're gonna link that podcast below. And
should we just put it at the end of the video? Like, maybe that's better. So after this here.
You should?
I don't know.
We're gonna send it. We're gonna send it. We're gonna send it as an extra part, because I think that podcast has like a lot of really, really nice secrets. And the way that we're gonna do it is we're gonna have like the first section of this interview when we're finishing on business, but then we dive deeper into the other parts, because I really value what Martin has said here, and I don't want to take more of your time. And I know that this is super important. So please watch the full interview. It's gonna be on YouTube, but it's gonna be primarily audio. And for the other podcast, you can see it on Spotify, and you'll be able to see it on different platforms as well in the future.
All right.
So those are secret tips. And Martin, again, thank you again. Let's keep growing. Let's keep doing jiu-jitsu, and let's keep getting freer.
And more meat.
More meat. Yes, sir.
All right. So awesome.
Awesome.